The stranger Emma lived in a quiet town called Nova Hill. It wasn't special, just rows of metal houses, hover bikes passing by, and a sky that always seemed too gray. Life was slow, even boring, but Emma liked it that way. She worked at a tech shop, fixing old devices and watching life go by. Nothing strange ever happened, until one day, everything changed. It started with a sound, screeching metal and a scream. Emma looked up from her workbench. Outside, a delivery car had lost control in midair and was falling fast from the upper lane. People screamed and pointed, but no one could help. The car was about to crash straight into the busy plaza, but it didn't. Emma saw him then. A man, tall and calm, walking right into the danger. He didn't run. He didn't shout. He just raised one hand. The car stopped, not slowly, not with help. It just froze like time had paused. Floating just inches above the ground, the crowd gasped. Some clapped, some took out their phones. But within seconds, the man walked away, disappearing into an alley, as if nothing had happened. Emma stood still. Her hands were shaking. No one else seemed to notice what had just happened. A flying car had stopped in midair. By someone's hand, she dropped her tools and ran. The alley was dark and quiet. Emma followed the man from a distance. He moved like a shadow, smooth and silent, turning down another street, then another. Who was he? Finally, he stopped. He stood in front of an old repair shop with a broken sign, Nova Tech, closed. He looked around once, then walked in through the side door. Emma hesitated. Her heart was pounding, but curiosity won. She crept up to the door and pushed it open just enough to peek inside. The inside was dusty and dark, old machines covered in cloth, wires on the floor. It looked like no one had been here for years, except him. He was at the center of the room, typing on a floating screen. Blue lights danced around his fingers. His face was calm, focused. Emma noticed his hands. They moved too fast, almost like a blur. And then, without turning, he spoke. "You followed me." Emma froze. How did he know? He turned around slowly, a small smile on his face. "You're curious, I understand." How did you stop that car?" Emma asked, stepping inside. That wasn't normal, that wasn't human. He looked at her, eyes glowing slightly under the dim light. "You're not just human, are you?" she asked again, her voice shaking. The man smiled wider. "What makes you think I'm not?" Emma pointed a shaky hand. "No one can do what you did. I saw you. You didn't even touch it," he paused, then stepped forward slowly. "You're right," he said. "I'm not just human." Emma backed away. "Who are you?" He raised one hand, and a small blue light glowed from his palm. It hovered, changing shapes. A cube, then a star, then a map of the solar system. "My name is Kale," he said softly. "I'm from Earth, but not only Earth." Emma stared at the light. Her fear slowly turned into wonder. "What does that mean?" she whispered. "Kale, let the light fade. It means your world is bigger than you know, and very soon it's going to change." Before Emma could ask more, Kale turned back to his screen. "Go home, Emma," he said. She blinked. "How do you know my name?" He didn't answer. The screen behind him showed stars, spaceships, creatures with silver eyes. Emma took a step back, her mind spinning. Kale looked at her one last time. "You're part of this too, but not yet." She left the shop slowly, heart pounding in her chest. The sky above Nova Hill was still gray, but for the first time, it didn't feel boring anymore. It felt like the beginning of something big. The secret room. Emma couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the man. Kyle. His glowing hand. The car frozen in the air. The words he had spoken. "Your world is bigger than you know." She didn't know what he meant, but something inside her had changed. Her quiet life in Nova Hill no longer made sense. Everything felt like a puzzle, and Kale was the first piece. So the next night she went back. The old repair shop looked empty again. The broken sign still hung from one bolt, swinging in the wind. No lights inside. No sound. Emma stood outside, for a moment, then pulled out a small scanner from her bag. She worked with tech. She knew how to find power signals, even hidden ones. The scanner beeped. There was energy coming from underground. Emma walked to the side of the building. The door was locked, but she had tools. A quick zap from her mini welder, and the lock gave way. She slipped inside. The shop was dark and silent, just like before. But this time, she knew there was more. She looked around carefully. Dust covered everything. Desks, chairs, old machines. She tapped the floor with her foot. It sounded hollow in one spot near the back. Emma knelt down and brushed the floor with her hand. There was a trapdoor. She pried it open slowly. Cold air rose from below. It smelled like metal and electricity. She hesitated, then climbed down the ladder. The moment her foot touched the bottom, lights flicked on by themselves. Emma froze. She was in a tunnel, smooth walls, no wires, no seams. Not built by human hands, not like anything she had seen before. As she walked forward, blue lights lit up the path ahead, one by one. Finally, she reached a door. It looked like a circle, but it opened in 4 parts, sliding back with a soft hiss. The room beyond was massive, too big to be under a small shop. Screens covered the walls, showing stars, planets, maps. Strange machines hummed in the corners, and in the center of it all was Cale. He stood in front of a glowing console, working. Quickly, he didn't seem surprised to see her. "You came back," he said, not turning. Emma stepped in. "What is this place?" Kyle sighed. "It's older than your town. Older than most of this planet's cities." Emma looked around in awe. "Is this a ship?" "Part of one," Kyle said. "The rest is hidden." She walked closer. "You said the world is going to change. How?" Cale finally turned to her. "Because they're coming," he said. "My kind. Not all of them are peaceful." Emma felt a chill. "Aliens?" "Not exactly. Not like the ones in your movies," Cale replied. "They're what humans could have become, if they hadn't forgotten who they were." Emma stared. At him. "What are you talking about?" Cale walked over to a panel and pressed a button. A hologram lit up in the air. Images of tall figures with glowing skin, golden eyes, and long, sharp hands. "We were one species once," he said. "Humans and us long ago, before history. But we left, or were forced to leave. Some of us stayed behind, hidden. Like me." Emma's mind raced. "You're saying we were the same?" "Yes," Kyle said. "And now, the ones who left are returning. Not to reunite, but to rule." He pointed to the screen. "And they know about you?" Emma frowned. "Me? Why me?" Cale looked at her, serious now. "Because your parents were part of something. Something they kept hidden. Even from you." Emma felt like the ground had disappeared under her feet. "My parents died in a transport crash," she whispered. "That's what you were told," Kyle said. "But it wasn't an accident." He tapped another screen. A video played. Emma's mother and father, in spacesuits, standing in front of a strange, glowing gate. Her mother looked into the camera. "If you're seeing this, we didn't make it. But our daughter must know the truth. Emma, you are not fully human, and they will come for you." Emma's breath caught. Cale stepped closer. "You have something inside you. A code, hidden in your DNA. It's the only thing that can stop them." Emma backed away. "No, this can't be real." Kyle's voice was calm. "It's real. And soon, the choice will be yours. Fight or run." Before she could speak, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the room. Kyle's face went hard. "They found us." "Who?" Emma shouted. Kyle turned to a screen. Shapes were moving outside. Dark, tall, with glowing red eyes. "Hunters," he said. A blast shook the room. Emma, get down. The ceiling cracked. Everything went dark. The truth darkness. Dust. Silence. Emma lay still, blinking through the smoke. Her ears rang. The secret room, the glowing screens, the alien tech, was now a mess of sparks and broken metal. Then, a voice. Emma, stay down. Kale. She tried to move. Pain shot through her arm, but nothing was broken. Just bruised. She pushed herself up, coughing. Red lights still blinked through the smoke. Kale was near the control panel, trying to reboot something. His face was tense, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Outside, heavy footsteps echoed. Not human. What are they? Emma whispered. Kyle looked at her. Hunters. Sent to find those like me. And now, you. Why me? Emma asked again. What's inside me that they want? Kyle stared at her for a long moment. Then quietly he said, because you are the key. Kyle pulled open a hidden panel in the wall. Behind it was a narrow tunnel, lit by a dim blue glow. This way, he said. They ran. The tunnel curved and twisted, far below the city. The air grew colder. Soon they reached another door, this one circular and smooth like metal water. Kyle placed his hand on it. The door melted open. Inside was a small chamber, with only one thing in the center, a tall, glass-like pillar. Inside it, something glowed. Emma stepped closer. Is that your inheritance? Kyle said. What your parents died protecting. Emma reached out. The pillar opened silently. Inside was a cube, floating, spinning slowly. It looked simple, but the energy from it made her skin tingle. This is the lock, Kyle said, and you are the only one who can open it. Emma looked at him. What's inside? The truth, he said. About your parents. About the others. About the war that's coming. She touched the cube. Nothing happened at first. Then, light. Soft at first, then blinding. The room vanished. Emma stood on a grassy hill under a purple sky. The air was warm. 2 moons floated above her. It wasn't Earth. Beside her, a younger version of her mother stood, smiling at someone, a tall man with silver eyes. She'll be strong, her mother said. Stronger than both of us. Emma watched the memory play out. Her parents were not just scientists. They were explorers, working with Kyle's people. They had found a secret hidden inside human DNA. A power locked away long ago, and they had unlocked it inside her. If the others find her, her father said in the vision, they'll use her. They'll twist her. Then we hide her, her mother replied, until the time is right. The memory faded. Emma was back in the chamber. The cube now floated above her hand, pulsing with light. Kale looked at her with awe. You did it, he said. You woke it up. Emma felt a strange energy inside her. A warmth, a buzz in her chest. What? Am I? She asked. More than human, Kale said. But still human enough to feel, to choose. That's what makes you different. A distant explosion shook the tunnel. Kale stepped toward the wall, pressed his hand on a panel. A small map lit up. They're breaching the outer levels. We have maybe 10 minutes. Emma stared at the map. Can we stop them? Not yet, Kyle said. But we can run, regroup. There's a safe zone. Emma looked down at the cube. It floated gently beside her now, like it belonged to her. What if I don't want to run? She said. Kale paused. Then you fight. And if you fight, you won't fight alone. They exited the tunnel into the old subway lines below Nova Hill. Everything above was quiet now. Too quiet. The city was holding its breath. Kale handed Emma a small device. This will hide your signal. For a little while. They moved fast. past rusted tracks and forgotten doors. Cale stopped near a sealed elevator. Up there, he said, pointing. Your next path begins. Emma looked at him. What about you? I'll hold them off, Cale said. You need to find the archive. It's where your parents stored. The rest? Emma hesitated. What if they catch you? He smiled. Then they'll wish they hadn't. As the elevator rose, Emma felt her hands trembling. Not with fear, but with something new. Purpose. She was no longer just a girl from a small town. She was part of something older, something dangerous. And she had the key. When the doors opened, bright morning light spilled in. Nova Hill looked normal, but nothing was normal anymore. Emma stepped out, and the real fight began. The mission Emma ran through the lower streets of Nova Hill. Morning sunlight touched the tall metal towers, but the city felt hollow. Something was wrong. Too quiet. Too still. Cale was gone. She was alone now, but not weak. The cube floated beside her, glowing softly. No one else could see it. No scanner could track it. It moved when she moved, like it knew her thoughts. Emma didn't know where she was going, only that Cale had said to find the archive. That's where the rest of the truth was waiting. And maybe her purpose too. Deep under the city, in an old train station that hadn't worked for decades, Emma found it. An old sign read, Central Data Vault, closed for repairs, but the door wasn't locked. Emma stepped inside. Dust floated in the air, broken screens, cracked tiles, but deeper inside she found something different. A smooth wall, a scanner hidden behind an old vending machine. She reached out instinctively. The cube floated toward the scanner and lit up. The wall hissed open. Behind it, another world. The room was alive with energy, smooth white walls, floating lights. A single console in the center, surrounded by chairs that looked like they hadn't been used in years. Emma walked in slowly, and then something flickered to life. A voice. Emma Lyra Carson. Identity confirmed. Her breath caught. Accessing. Family archive. A hologram appeared. Her mother. Emma, she said. If you're seeing this, then Cale was right. You're ready. Emma stood frozen. You were born not just to live in this world, but to protect it. The people who are coming, they don't want to rule. They want to rebuild Earth in their own image. And they'll destroy anyone who says no. The image shifted. Maps, names, old cities, rebel codes. This archive contains the plans for Project Lumen, the voice said. Your father and I worked on it for years. A defense, a signal, a call to those who still believe in humanity. Emma stepped closer. A call? The hologram looked at her. Your mission is to finish what we started. A sudden noise. Emma turned fast, heart racing. A shadow moved at the entrance. She grabbed a pipe from the floor. Her hand shook, but she stood her ground. Then the figure stepped into the light. Not a hunter. A girl, maybe 16, wearing a torn jacket, a scanner on her wrist. You're Emma, she said. Emma lowered the pipe slightly. Who are you? Someone. Who's been looking for you? The girl replied. Name's Nova. I'm with the signal. Emma blinked. The what? Nova smiled. A rebel group. We've been tracking strange events. Energy bursts. Tech waking up. You've been lighting up scanners across half the planet. Emma frowned. How did you find me? Nova pointed to the cube. That. Emma raised her hand. You can see it? Not just see it. I was born to follow it, Nova said. Just like you. They left the archive an hour later, the cube now showing them a map. Coordinates, glowing in the sky. A place deep beyond the forest cities where something slept. Something powerful. That's the signal core, Nova explained as they rode a stolen hoverbike. Your parents tried to activate it 20 years ago. They were close. Emma stared at the horizon. What happened? They were betrayed, Nova said. Emma felt her chest tighten. By who? Nova paused. We don't know, but someone on the inside, someone human. The silence that followed was heavy. Emma finally spoke. Kale said they'll come soon. Is that true? Nova nodded. Some are already here, changing faces, hiding in plain sight. Emma turned to look at her. How do I stop them? Nova gave her a look. Serious, intense. You don't stop them alone. That night they reached an old forest station, abandoned, cold, surrounded by silence. Inside were two others, an old man with cybernetic eyes and a young boy with no voice but powerful hands that could bend metal. Nova introduced them quickly. This is Elric, and that's Shy. They had been waiting for Emma, the girl who carried the cube. The key. Emma listened as Elric spoke. Project Lumen wasn't just a weapon, he said. It's a beacon, a call to the old guardians, those who left, thinking Earth was lost. If we light it, they may return. Emma looked at the cube. And what if the others come first? She asked. Elric's voice was quiet. Then we fight. Or we fall. Outside, the sky darkened, stars blinked into view. Emma sat alone by the fire later that night, holding the cube in her hand. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory. Your mission is to protect them. She looked at the others sleeping around her. Nova, Shy, Elric, strangers, but not anymore. Family now. Emma stood up. We move at first light, she said to the night sky, because now she had a mission, and she would not fail. The chase, the morning came cold and fast. Emma stood outside the forest station, eyes on the horizon. Her breath made tiny clouds in the air. Beside her, Nova checked her scanner, while Shy adjusted the straps on a small power core he carried. On his back, Elric walked out of the shadows, holding a long metal staff. His voice was calm but heavy. They've found us. Emma didn't ask how, she already knew. The cube beside her buzzed softly. The light inside it flickered like a heartbeat. Fast, scared. How many? Nova asked. Elric looked at her. 2. Many. They didn't wait to fight. They ran, through the trees, across frozen streams, over broken roads and old ruins. Shy moved with surprising speed, always quiet, always watching their backs, but the enemy was faster. Not ships, not drones, shadows. They came with the wind, shifting forms, almost invisible. Not just machines or aliens, but something between. Part light, part darkness. Emma saw one for the first time when she looked back. It had no face, just 2 glowing eyes and long, sharp limbs that moved like smoke. Nova fired her pulse gun. The shot went through it, but the thing didn't fall. Run, Nova shouted. They ran harder. Emma's legs burned. Her lungs screamed. The forest blurred, but the shadows kept coming. They reached an old bridge. Half of it was gone, fallen into the valley below. Elric stopped and turned. Go, I'll hold them. Emma shook her head. No, you have the cube, he said. Go. He struck his staff on the ground. It lit up, glowing with old power. Nova grabbed Emma's arm. We can't stay. They ran across the cracked part of the bridge, Shy helping them jump the broken section. Behind them, Elric faced the first shadow. He didn't scream when it hit him, but Emma felt it, like a tear inside her. She looked back just once. He was gone. They reached a cave system hidden below the valley. Nova activated a cloaking field at the entrance. Inside, the cave was dark, wet, and quiet. Too quiet. Emma dropped to her knees, chest heaving. He stayed for us, she said. Nova sat beside her. He knew what he was doing. Shy handed her a flask of water. Emma nodded her thanks, her hands still shaking. The cube hovered beside her, dim now. Why didn't it warn us? She whispered. Nova looked at it. It only shows what it wants to show. It's connected to you. Emma stood up slowly. Then I need answers. Deeper in the cave, they found an ancient chamber, not human-built. The walls were curved, smooth like the inside of a giant shell, Symbols glowed faintly along the walls. Emma placed the cube in the center of the room. A pulse of light spread through the chamber. The walls shifted, opened. A hologram appeared, flickering, unstable. It showed a woman, not her mother, not human, but close, tall, glowing skin, eyes of burning gold. She spoke in a language they didn't know, but Emma understood. We were once one, human and light. But then came the silence, the fall, the forgetting. The image changed, showing cities burning, stars dying, humans kneeling to dark figures. They feed on memory, on truth. They erase who you are, until nothing is left. The figure looked at Emma. But you remember, you carry the last light. The hologram ended. The chamber fell silent. Nova stepped forward. What did she say? Emma looked down at her hands. That they don't just kill, they erase. Nova frowned. Erase what? Emma looked up, her voice steady. Our history, our truth, our humanity. Just then, Shai raised his hand. Movement. Outside. The cloak field failed. They were found again. There's too many, Nova whispered, looking at the scanner. Emma grabbed the cube. We can't keep running. Nova looked at her. Then what? Do we do? Emma's voice was quiet. We make them run. She walked out of the cave. The shadows were waiting, at least 6 of them crawling down the valley walls. Emma felt something in her chest like a spark. The cube glowed brighter. A voice echoed in her mind. Remember. And she did. A memory not her own, but deep in her blood. A woman, standing, in front of fire, arms raised, eyes shining, not fighting with weapons, fighting with light. Emma raised her hands. The cube floated higher, spinning faster. The shadows paused. They felt it. Emma's body began to glow, not bright, not blinding, just enough like the first spark of a storm. She stepped forward and spoke one word. Leave. The shadows shrieked, an unnatural breaking sound. They turned and vanished. Nova stared at her. What was that? Emma didn't answer. She didn't know how to explain what had awakened inside her, but she knew one thing. She wasn't just part of the mission now. She was the mission. The betrayal, the journey to the rebel base took 2 days. Emma, Nova, and Shai traveled mostly by night, avoiding drones and scanning towers. The cube remained dim, silent as if saving its energy, or watching. Emma couldn't sleep during the trip. Her mind replayed the moment again and again. The shadows had run from her, not from a weapon, not from Nova's blaster, from her, and she didn't know why. The rebel base was hidden beneath the ruins of a pretext city called Halion, long abandoned after a war no one remembered. Nova led them through cracked streets, down a tunnel sealed with living metal. She pressed her hand to a stone that glowed faintly with heat. The wall opened like a breath. Inside, light. Emma stepped through and stopped. The base was bigger than she imagined. A city underground. People moved through metal halls. Soldiers. Techs. Children. A small world hiding in the dark. They were all watching her. Nova leaned close. Word spreads fast down here. What word? Emma asked. Nova gave a small smile. The girl who made the shadows run. A tall woman with sharp, gray eyes met them inside the command hall. Her name was General Zira, part human, part machine. Her left arm glowed with synthetic muscle and electric veins. She didn't smile. We lost 3 posts last week, she said to Nova. We didn't expect survivors. Nova nodded. We almost weren't. Zira looked at Emma. And this is her? Emma stepped forward. I'm not here to be a symbol. Zira's eyes narrowed. You're not. You're here because you carry something we've been hunting for 20 years. The cube floated from behind Emma's shoulder. It glowed softly. Zira's voice dropped. The Lumen Key. Emma didn't know the name, but she felt its weight. That night in her quarters, Emma sat alone. The cube hovered before her, spinning slowly. "What am I supposed to do with you?" she whispered. It didn't answer, but it pulsed once, softly. Then, something strange happened, a voice. Not from the speakers, from inside the cube. Her mother's voice. "Emma, if you're hearing this, they found the base." Emma froze. This recording was set to play if the cube touched the old Hallian codes. Her mother's voice continued. "That means someone betrayed us." Emma stood up fast. "What?" "The rebels are not all who they seem," the voice said. "There is a sleeper inside, someone pretending, someone waiting." Emma felt cold. The message ended. The cube dimmed. She ran. In the war room, Nova and Zira were arguing. Emma burst in. "Stop!" They both turned. "What is it?" Nova asked. Emma held up the cube. "My mother left a warning. There's a traitor inside this base." Zira crossed her arms. "A message from 20 years ago?" Emma nodded. "Triggered by a code inside your walls." Zira's jaw tightened. "Who knew we were coming?" Emma asked. Nova's face changed. "Only a few." "Check the logs," Emma said. "Who accessed the gate before we got here?" Shai stepped forward, holding up his wrist. He had been quietly scanning. A list appeared. One name flashed at the top. Nova. Emma stared at her. "Tell me that's not you." Nova's face turned pale. I didn't. Zira drew her weapon. "Step away." Nova backed up, hands raised. "I didn't betray you," she said. "I swear. I used the system to clear the gate faster. I thought it would help." "Someone used your access," Emma said. "Someone close to you." Shai tapped another button. A hidden layer of the log appeared. A second user. Emma's heart sank. "Elric." "But he's gone," Nova whispered. "Or maybe he never left," Emma said. That night, Emma sat alone again. Too many questions, too many ghosts. Nova had been cleared. It wasn't her. Someone else had used her code. Someone smart. Someone inside the base long before Emma arrived. And the worst part? Emma felt watched, as if someone knew every move she made. She looked at the cube. "What do I do now?" The cube floated higher. A map appeared, not of the planet, of the stars. A red point glowed far from Earth. A ship. A message. Lumen core signal active. Transmission waiting. Emma reached out. A burst of light. A new voice. Kale. His image flickered, his voice. "Quiet, Emma. If this reaches you..." "I've been taken," she gasped. "They want the key," he said. "But they don't understand. The cube is not the weapon." He looked up. His face bruised, his light dim. "You are." The signal ended. The base fell, silent at midnight. And somewhere in the shadows a figure moved. A hand touched a wall panel. A red eye blinked once. The traitor was still here. Watching. Waiting. And Emma's time was running out. The true form, the rebel base, was no longer safe. Emma knew it the moment she opened her eyes the next morning. Something in the air had changed. Colder. Quieter. Like the base itself was holding its breath. She stepped into the hallway and saw it. Guards. On high alert. Silent nods. Quiet whispers. Someone had tripped the perimeter alarm during the night. But no one had left, and no one had entered. The enemy was already inside. Nova ran up beside her, breath short. "They found Kyle." Emma froze. "Where?" Nova handed her a data slate. "The signal you received from the cube, it came from the outer shell. The ancient prison zone orbiting Earth." Emma stared at the screen. "He's being held on a forgotten ship?" she asked. Nova nodded. "One built before the war. Long abandoned. They're using it to hide him off-grid." Emma looked down at the cube. It pulsed faster. It knew. They didn't ask for permission. Emma, Nova, and Shy left before dawn in an old rebel ship cloaked in a fading stealth field. The hangar crew tried to stop them. Zira never showed up, and Emma was starting to wonder why. Nova flew. Shy kept watch, and Emma sat in silence. She remembered Kale's voice. "You are the weapon." What did he mean? What was inside her? And why? Had the shadows been afraid? The cube hovered near her, silent but alive. Emma whispered to it, "Show me." And the cube responded. A vision opened before her. She stood in a field of stars. Dozens of other versions of her, same face, same body, different lives, stood around her. Warriors, scientists, leaders, ghosts of what she could have been, and still might become. A voice spoke. Not Kale's, not her mother's, her own. "You were made to carry memory," the voice said, "to hold light when the world forgets. But light alone isn't enough." Emma stared at the other versions of herself. Then, what is, she asked, the will to use it? The ship landed on the outer shell 3 hours later. The prison ship floated like a dead whale in space. Massive, broken, forgotten. But inside, life stirred. Not human life. Emma stepped out first. The corridors were dark, cold, walls etched with symbols no one had spoken in centuries. They moved fast, following the cube's guidance until they reached a locked door, and Kale's voice came from behind it. "Emma," he said, "don't open it." Nova raised her gun. Emma placed her hand on the door. "Kyle, what's inside?" "Not what," he said. "Who?" The door opened. Kyle stood inside, weak, chained to a power field, and beside him, Zira. Her eyes glowed red. She smiled. "Hello, Emma." The betrayal was complete. Zira had been the sleeper all along, hidden in plain sight. She hadn't just been waiting for the cube. She had been guiding Emma toward this moment. A trap. "You unlocked the core," Zira said. "You lit the signal. Now I just need your final piece." Emma stepped forward. "You'll never get it." Zira laughed. "Emma, you already gave it to me." She snapped her fingers. The cube dropped to the ground. Dim. Lifeless. "You gave it everything," Zira said. "Now it's just you." She raised her hand. A wave of shadow energy shot toward Emma, but Emma didn't run. She remembered the vision, the voice. You were made to carry memory, and she understood. She was the last guardian of truth, the last light of a forgotten age, and she would not be erased. The light burst from within her, not from the cube, not from a weapon, but from her very skin. Her eyes glowed white. Her veins lit up like stars. She wasn't just human. She wasn't alien either. She was both. And more. The shadow wave hit her. And shattered. Nova gasped. Shy stepped back, shielding his eyes. Kale smiled weakly. "She's awakened," Zira screamed, unleashing a second attack, blades of pure darkness. Emma raised her hand, and the darkness froze, like a memory remembered, then faded. Emma stepped forward. "You lost the moment you tried to erase me." Zira's body twisted, trying to shift, escape, transform, flee. But Emma was faster. Her hand touched Zira's chest. One word. "Remember." Zira fell to the ground. Not dead, but human again. Her red eyes gone, her voice broken. "What have you done?" Emma stood tall. "I gave you back what you forgot." They freed Kyle. Nova flew them home. Emma stood at the deck, watching Earth spin below. The cube floated once again beside her. But it was quiet now. It had done its part. Kale stepped beside her. "You've become what they feared most," he said. Emma nodded. "Not a weapon." "No," he said. "A witness," she finished. Weeks later, the rebel base welcomed them back with silence. No flags, no cheers, just eyes full of belief. Emma didn't want to lead, but now she had to. A new world was waking, world where history would not be forgotten, a world where truth would be protected, And as Emma walked toward the dawn with Nova and Shy beside her, she was no longer running from who she was. She was ready. Whatever came next, she would face it in her true form.